What's up, guys? We're not doing the final chapter, but welcome to another DWatch. Today, while I was at work, I threw out some feelers to see which ones you guys want me to do. I'm going to do a double feature tonight, and I was thinking it will either be the first two or part 7 and 8. And the reason I say part 7 and 8, because some of you were saying, why not do part 6 or do part 4? Just last year, I did a 3 movies. I believe I did 4, 5, and 6, and like 7 years ago I did 1 through 3. So I figured it's fine to go back and do 1 and 2, just because that was kind of a short video for doing 3 movies. I think it was like 30. This is gonna be definitely a longer one, but anyway, yeah. So let's see which one you guys chose. And by the way, I have something to say about this particular. We're going to be going over a few of the DVD and Blu-ray and 4K collections, and well, actually, there's no 4K, but or maybe there, whatever. But I got something to say about that right there. But that's one of the old DVD collections. But if I go over to Twitter, 121 votes. You can see it is really, really close. But we're going to do Friday 1 and 2, I think. And I'll still do 7 and 8. That's coming, okay? No, it doesn't have to be Friday the 13th to enjoy Jason, right? Friday 1 and 2, we're gonna do this. Here we go. DWatch, let's go! All right, here we are. This is the ones we're gonna pull out. We're gonna go from the Big Shout Factory Deluxe Edition set, parts 1 and 2, right there. Look at that, guys. I'd say those are pretty safe covers. Now, do these have, like, if I open this up, so part 2 pretty much has your standard, look at that. Not much of an option there. You know, I'm sure somebody on Etsy probably has custom covers for this box set, but that's for part 2. And if I can show off a little bit, I'll pull this out. Since we're doing show and tell, Howling Ends, Kills, and 2018. And the reason I'm showing you this is later, okay? I'm not going to show you right now. A little later, okay? Because we got to get going, all right? But also, here is my TV that I got. I got this off of Amazon Marketplace. And I have about 200 Voodoo titles. And let me see. Yeah, movies. Do I have to really search that way? View all, there we go. So yeah, I can, let me turn off this light. I got the Footloose soundtrack on, don't you judge me. If I go down, way down, there it is, oh, go back. So I could go over here and maybe do like say part 7. I can do that, right? And I can just go ahead and play that. Let's have it playing in the background on that one, okay? That doesn't mean our primary focus is going to be part 7. There's nothing wrong with having it playing in the background, right? And let me turn down my Footloose here. So there we go. We got part 7 playing there. And if I kick on my light here, if I go into my VHS section, I can probably find, there we go, Jason Takes Manhattan. Yeah, we could probably take that. Look at that. On VHS, and we could probably put it right there in Jolene, right? We could probably do that. Yeah, I miss these recaps that we would get for these movies. You know, that's part of the fun of it. And maybe that's part of the 80s of it all. In the 80s, they always had those cool recaps. So, yeah, we'll leave that one playing up here. And I can even turn that down a little bit, but yeah, that's the end of part 6, guys. It's gonna be a Friday the 13th fest up in here. Okay, we're doing a double feature, but we're also gonna have other stuff playing in here. Look at that. I got Jolene. Let me turn off this light. Doing a little bit of fast forwarding. That's one of the negs about VHS is you had to do the fast forwarding at the beginning, but it's okay because it's worth it once we get there. Feature presentation, people. And that's going to be Jason Takes Manhattan. There we go. So you can see what we got going on there. Awesome, awesome stuff. Let's head back downstairs. Okay, here we go. Now we're official. Pretty basic menu too. We're going to do the unrated version. The first movie actually has both the unrated and the theatrical. And we are going to do the unrated. All right, guys, we're sitting back. A Sean S. Cunningham. Did it say Sean S? Yeah, Sean S. Cunningham movie. Every now and then, there'll be a discussion that'll pop up about the first Friday the 13th. And I don't know if it's just as of late or if it's always been this way. Maybe it's this generation. But it seems like some people don't really care for the first movie that much. And I rarely, if ever, see it at the top of anybody's ranking, including mine, to be fair. It is in my top 5, though. And I've never really heard people say it was kind of slow and boring, even though it might be. It might be. I've never... That's a thought that's never come to me about this movie. That it's just kind of slow and boring, which is kind of interesting. Looking at this beginning here, it's very much like the original Halloween. You even have like a POV shot there. But it, you know, I'm saying it's like the original Halloween because it takes place, you know, 15 years later, something like that. And then we jump forward to the present. So kind of interesting. But I mean, hell, even the first Halloween has what you would call a slow burn. But I think there's a difference between a slow burn and just a boring movie. A big difference, actually, because a slow burn never lets go. It just constantly builds and builds and builds. And that's kind of what I get out of the first Friday. So we will definitely get into the plot and all the good stuff about this movie along the way. We're going to jump into the second one as well. It's probably going to be a long video, guys, right? Now, the reason I brought this up, hallelujah. I like this intro. I do like this intro quite a bit. You know, there's something... And I've said this before, there's just something about those 80s characters that you just can't have again. We'll never have characters like that again, even though that's supposed to be like in the 60s. But I call it innocence, call it just a different generation. I don't know. But there was definitely an innocence to it that you don't see today, you know? And maybe that's why I prefer those 80s Friday movies anyway. But... the reason I was bringing this up, okay, look at this right here, all right? I was looking for a specific DVD collection because I do have this one. This is a DVD collection that somebody sent me, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like it's a book type setting, which is kind of like the complete collection Blu-ray that came out too, which I have that up there. We'll show you that, but. The only reason I was looking for a specific set was because this one right here, it's the DVD menus. And I don't even know if I could find them on YouTube to even play them here, but the DVD menus were very energetic. And it was for, like, each disc had like 2 movies on it. As you can see right there, they had like 2 movies on them. But do you guys know what I'm talking about? Do any of you guys have this particular edition right here that has, when you pop it in, the menu goes, you know? And it always got me in the mood to watch Friday the 13th. But happy Friday the 13th, everyone. It's like Christmas. We horror fans, we love the holiday, Friday the 13th, and it is a holiday. And I see all you guys on the horror groups and on the Instagrams and the Twitters, and you're rejoicing and you're celebrating. And what's nice about Friday the 13th? It's always on Friday, and I love that. As silly as that sounds. Okay. About to get attacked. Woo! Right away, plenty of blood, you know? This movie really kicked slasher movies into high gear because of the blood, because of Tom Savini. And I love this, how it slows down, you know, kind of goes in slow motion. I love that. You don't even have to show the kill. It's just beautiful. Now, this opening character here, Annie, this is kind of the psycho effect, what they're doing here. How Janet Leigh was the opener and you thought that she was going to be the final girl. Where they're doing kind of the same thing here with Annie. And this actress that played Annie, I guess just some actors, they just have it or they don't. You know, the charisma, likability. And I think they really picked a good one to have her started out because she was very likable. And, you know, she was sweet. There's Crazy Ralph. Just had him in my top 10 FU in the sequel countdown. There you go. Famous line. One of the most famous lines in the Friday franchise. This is actually the first DWatch that I did for the Friday movies. This was the parts 1 through 3. This was back in 2017 when I did this. And now here we are. You know, you can see there's the scene where she's in trouble, damsel in distress, right? And so now here I am, 6 years later, back at it, and we just can't get away from Friday the 13th. You know, we can go through new movie after new movie after new movie every year, but we always end up going back to our favorites. You know, the big three: Friday, Nightmare, Halloween. And what is it about? This is the first thing in the comment. What is it about these movies that keep us coming back? Is it just that they're slashers? You know, what is it? I don't know. I ask myself that sometimes. You know, because it's hard to make you keep coming back. And these movies do it. You know, and that's why I was doing them back then, and that's why I'm doing them now. One thing about these movies is they pretty much follow the same exact template, right? I mean, like a lot of you guys complain that don't like the first movie, or just say that it's one of their least favorites. They complain about the pacing of it, but it's kind of the same pacing as a lot of the movies in the franchise, especially the first run, meaning that it's front loaded with 1, maybe 2 good kills. Then, like this right here, then we take our time to get to know the characters a little bit, you know, settle in, which is good. You want to get to know the characters. So by the time they do start getting killed again, the killing starts happening again, then maybe we care a little bit more. And I like these characters. You got Bing Crosby's son here playing Bill. Then you got Brenda, who tragically passed away of cancer quite a while back. Oh, I love that. Like, that reminds me of my Melbourne house with the lake in the back. Man, I loved my lake in the backyard. And I think these movies are just comfort cinema for me. And I would even say this. I think the Friday movies, of all of the franchises, I think the Friday movies, there's just a comfort aspect to them. I can throw these movies on at any time, and I can even say that over Halloween. A lot of Halloween movies, I need to be in a certain mood, you know? But these are just fun, you know, kickback type of movies that you can just throw in sometimes even in the background, right? That's a nice shot. I like that pullback, you know, that zoom back, I guess you would call it. Yeah, just nice and peaceful. I love that stuff. But again, pretty much the same type vibe, pacing-wise, as a lot of the other movies. It just doesn't have Jason as the killer, which I'm fine with, completely fine with. I'm getting hungry. What am I gonna have for Din Din? For Din Din. Let's take a look. I'm almost ashamed to show you what is in my freaking freezer. But I think I'm gonna go with, not the ice cream, that's not good. I think I'm gonna go with this. The steak and roasted potatoes, those are good. Those Marie Callender's. I always thought it was a healthy choice, but I guess it's not. So, yeah, that's gonna be lunch, guys. All right, so while my dinner is cooking, let's head upstairs real quick. I got this little gate for Levi because he hurt his leg, and he's healed now, but you know, this is great because you can close it off so that way he won't come up the stairs. But he looks like he's pretty chill right now, so maybe he won't even come up the stairs. Okay, I got it all lit up in here. I got part 7 on the 32-inch. It's got the LEDs on behind it. You see that, guys? I like the LEDs because you can select a different program here too. Yeah, so see how it'll change colors there? It's kind of nice. It's a few different programs. See, things are starting to ramp up here. Maybe I should like pause one of these and save some of it for 2. You know, maybe I'll do that. And by the way, guys, for Christmas I got a Roku. I have a Roku on every TV. in the house. And guys, I can't recommend a Roku enough. Just hooked it right onto the side of that 32-inch. Do you guys have a digital collection? I'm not against digital, guys, okay? I have a digital collection. A lot of these I've been collecting over the past. That's bullshit. Look at that. 35% and 37%. See, that's, and I'm a critic, but I think some critics, they just don't have their finger on the pulse. Are they good movies? Maybe they're not. Maybe they're right. I don't know. But how could the audience, you know? Like, a lot of those people aren't horror fans, though. So who cares, right? So we're back over here. We're nowhere near Manhattan. We're on this boat. Manhattan's a pretty good one, though. It's grown on me. I didn't like it for a long time, but then it's finally grown on me. So, you see that, guys? I'm giving you all 4 movies, a little bit of all 4 movies, okay? But when you look at Manhattan here, you can see a stark contrast. Maybe, I don't know if you'd call it a progression or a regression from the first movie. It's just an overall. It almost gives you kind of a bird's eye view of the difference. You know, I guess of the changes from the early 80s to the late 80s. It was a different time. You know, you always say the 80s and you think of one thing, of course, but when you look at the beginning and you look at the end, you do see a little bit of progression or a change, you know? Oh, there he is. There's the guy. Yep, every killer's got to kill the power, right? Got to kill the power. Okay, but one thing I wanted to talk about over here was these, and I won't talk too much about Halloween, okay? But I just wanted to show you guys these custom covers I got off of Etsy. So, you see that? All right, when you see it again, it's going to be different. Hold on. And there you go, guys. Look at that cover for Halloween 2018. Halloween Kills, just to do them in order. And Halloween Ends. To kind of match what we see up here with all these covers. Like, just to show you an example. Like Halloween 1. See that? So now, you got Halloween 1, Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills, and Halloween. Which one's your favorite? Those look badass. Love it. I always liked her as a final girl. I can't remember her name. But the final girl that's in Manhattan is pretty good, pretty good. Now, when we'll be back up here later, and I'll show you some more Friday goodies, you know. Some more stuff in my Friday collection. It's not like massive or anything, you know. I'm not like Christian Hannah Horror, okay? But I got some Friday things up there that I can show you. So now we're back down here. Oh, big scene right here. I think they just got down and dirty, and yeah, because he's having the cigarette and got a good kill. So, and that's not too long, right, guys? Since the last kill. Why are you complaining? All right, and I'll even say this is one of the best kills in the franchise, if you ask me. Look at that. That's great stuff. Oof. And this is the unrated version, so I think they added just a couple extra frames on there. Okay, another kill coming pretty soon after Kevin Bacon's kill. And to me, this was part of the fun of these slasher movies back then was, you know, we've seen these movies like 100 times, right? But just imagine seeing this movie for the first time and you're just waiting and waiting, and the suspense and the tension is just killing you. And then you get the payoff, you know? Still to this day, there's horror movies that they don't show that. They won't show you the payoff, you know, which drives me crazy. Maybe that's one reason why I don't like PG-13 slashers, you know. I think there's a few exceptions out there, but for the most part, yeah, and that's another reason why right there. Why we like rated R slasher movies, okay? And if you really want to go down that road, jump into the Jello pool, okay? Because whoa, boy, they take it to another level, all right? And the killing and the boobies, you know, they go all the way, all right? Well, I guess not all the way. That would be a different type of movie, but there's the dinner. It looks pretty good, right? What was the deal with that guy? You know, he had a Jones for Alice. He couldn't keep his shirt on until like later in the movie. I don't know. This is, again, another kill coming soon. What is wrong with you guys? Okay, I'm going to stop picking on you. But you guys complaining that the first Friday is slow, I don't know what to tell you. I think it's got a lot of kills in it too, actually. And by the way, guys, I do have some shout outs. We got some Instagram. And I definitely got some killer flicks. We're going to do Instagram and killer flicks today, which will be fun. And you know what? That's part of the thing I like about DWatches is I like to make it a little interactive. You know, it's not a live stream. It's still a pre-recorded video, but you still get to be a part of it. And that's why while I'm doing it, I always try to advertise so you guys can, you know, so I can say thank you, because Drumdums is freaking over 7 years now and running and staying strong, and that's because of you guys. You know, we're not like doing like a skyrocket straight up. No, it's a gradual climb, and that's fine with me. I like that. You know, I like the path that I'm on, and when it stops being fun, then I'll stop doing it. But it's still so freaking fun. Maybe it's just because I love the community and I love horror so much. So, and I think my creative juices are still there. I constantly keep thinking of new ideas that I want to do for the channel, and a lot of times I get those ideas from you guys, so I really thank you. Okay, and constantly getting new people to the channel, making new friends, and yeah, can't thank you guys enough. All right, guys, it's starting to wind down to the final act, or wind up, I guess. Let's do some killer flicks shout outs. All right, killer flicks shout outs. Let's do this. Let's go. Chris Fluff, what's up, brother? He says, I'll take one. Jason Miller, him and Ashley, love them too. They'll take one. Polly, how are you doing? Me, please. Lucas Tizano. Jeff Cooley, he loves part 8. I think that's his favorite, but he loves this first one too, okay? Fachi, he says, Lee, come on, man. We collabed before. Okay. Kevin Smart, yes, sir. Joe Zipknock the 4th, not to be confused with the 3rd. Gonna have to tune in. Thank you, Joe. Ryan Bogardus, what's up? He says, me getting excited for this DWatch. He's got a little bit of the Crispin Glover dance. Everybody loves that. Thomas Jones, what's up, man? He says, sure, I'll have one, please. Also, just wanted to say, Lee, I've seen Friday the 13th, 1980 3 times now, and I seem to be liking it more and more. I wasn't expecting that. Good, I'm glad you're liking it more and more. It's like a warm blanket. It really is. Andy Hobbs says, love a DWatch. Robbie Phillips, I want to shout out. Andrew Parsino says, give me a shout would be a dead fuck thing to do. Let me put it in the old computer. And Derek Smith says, Kevin Williamson, sick on Peacock is the best slasher in ages. What? Holy shit. You're, I'm seeing Sick tomorrow. Wow, best in ages? All right, okay. You got me excited. You got me excited, Derek. Anthony Jordan says, I'd appreciate one of these two really feel like one movie, one watch together. Okay. Brandon McDaniel says, sure, I'll take one. Jack Woodlock says, I wouldn't mind a shout, and I'm watching the exact same movie too at this very moment, funnily enough. David Capps, he says, would love one. And Raekwon Phillips says, shout out my TikTok. It is RP_reviews. RP_reviews for Raekwon's TikTok. And you know what? Let's go see where we are for Jason Takes Manhattan, and then we'll do the Instagram shoutouts. Okay, so let's go. Levi is just loving it. He's resting, and I think he just loves his couch. Okay, so we got some shenanigans going on here. Looks like there's some sort of brouhaha. Yeah, I think she's down. They're down in Canada. I mean, New York now. And this is where it starts getting good, I think. Jason starts taking them off. Because Jason saves his victims here, right? And but eventually he gets back to his victims. There's the man right there. Kane Hodder signed that for me. Now, if I go down here, you can see Kane Hodder signed that. Let me turn on this light. Hold on. This is the limited edition 10 that came out quite a few years ago. And every time I go to a con, if a Friday person is there, I get them to sign it. Although Tom Matthews, I didn't have it with me and I didn't get him to sign it. So that's a big regret. But yeah, you got Kane Hodder, Amy Steele down here, and Alice herself, Adrienne King. And let me just say, all three of these people are just absolute sweethearts, you know? Even Kane's a sweetheart. But I just remember, like, all three of them, they would just give so much of their time to just sit and talk to you. And I think more importantly, too, they just made me feel comfortable. You know, because how you can walk up to a celebrity at a con and you feel a little nervous. I'm that type of person. I am introverted, believe it or not. But I would, it was like within a couple minutes, they made me feel at home and like they were old friends. It was so freaking cool. So I think they're appreciative for the fans, and I think the fans, because of the internet and social media, have kept all these older movies alive. You know, so it's really awesome. Makes me wonder, like, would it be like this if we didn't have, you know, social media and the internet and all that stuff today? Maybe not. Maybe not. So, you know, I guess there is some good things that come from social media. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Get a nice Jason kill there. Yeah, here we go. Get some Takes Manhattan action in here. Guys, I'm giving you your money's worth, okay? I'm giving you 4 freaking movies in one DWatch. You get a little bit of each. I wonder if Kane Hodder caught a cold after this movie. I mean, did you see that when he was breathing, how the cold was just coming out? And then he's like wet. He does have kind of a wrestler's type thing. Like, he grabs a hold of him like you would a wrestler, I guess. So that was one of the weaker kills, but there are some good kills in this movie. You know, I love when he dumps the old man in the trash can. That's one of my favorite Friday kills. This is a fan favorite, when he punches the guy's head off. I like how Jason lets him get in as many punches as he can until he tires himself out. And I think Kane said he caught him a few times too. They earned their money that day, let's put it that way. They call him One Punch Hockey Mask. They don't call him that for any reason. They call him that for one reason. Get in there, Rock. Hell, you haven't been hungry since you won that belt. Why didn't he just run away? Because I think at that point he knew, okay, now I am royally fucked. It was in this moment he knew. He fucked up. He's gonna let him give it his best shot? Okay, we are nearing the finale. We have just met Mrs. Voorhees. And I've talked ad nauseum about Pamela Voorhees. I did a full, I called it Friday the 13th Revisited with Deborah Voorhees, and we talked about the psychology of Pamela Voorhees and what makes her an interesting killer. But Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards, he just brought up a good point the other day, because you know how I like this shot right here. That's a good shot. You know how I've brought up the term the obvious slasher? Well, he said this is kind of like the impossible slasher. And what that means is you can't predict the killer. It's because the killer is never presented until the final act. And I think there's very few slashers like this. Usually 99% of the time the slasher is presented somewhere at the beginning of the movie, like a whodunit, if it's a whodunit. You know, I'm not talking about like Halloween and you know, the later Friday movies where we already know that Jason and Michael. I'm talking about true whodunits. The first movie is a whodunit, but it's an impossible slasher. And I got to give credit to Barry for, I don't know if he coined that term, but it's... Is it a bad thing? And I guess that's a question for you guys. Does it bother you that this is set up like a whodunit, but yet you can't figure out who it is? Because Mr. Voorhees was never presented at the beginning of the movie, you know? I like that this movie was done that way. I don't look at whodunits as like a game, like can I figure it out? Yeah, it's nice when you can guess and figure out the killer. If it's a well-written script and it's kind of difficult to do so. And then there's a lazy aspect to it too, like lazy writing makes it too easy to predict. But I kind of like this movie because I didn't care if I figured it out. It was enjoying the kills. And then here comes this old lady. I think they play it right because at the beginning when she's first introduced, you're thinking there's no way she could be the killer, right? Right? There's no way. And then she slowly starts unraveling, you know, because she's crazy. And eventually you see that come out of her. So I like the way they did this movie. And is it believable that Pamela could inflict all this damage? I think so, because she snuck up on her victims. You know, it wasn't like she confronted them and then killed them. And plus, an elderly woman like that is going to cause you to put your guard down. There's no way if you are confronted with her, you're going to think she's a killer. You know, so I think she kind of has the upper hand and she can sneak up on you. I remember the first time I saw this movie way back in the 80s, it did creep me out. It really did. And one thing, and this is a childhood memory, one thing that scared me about this movie when I was a really young kid, for some reason, there's a scene of blood in the final act between her and Alice. I think when Alice, like, is defending herself and she hits her, when I was a kid, I thought the blood was black. And to me, I thought like that was intentional. And I thought she was evil, like she had like black blood. You know, I was like freaking 5, 6 years old at the time. Yeah, that was in my, you know, when you're a child, you do have these thoughts and these memories that when you're an adult, you think back and you're like, what was I thinking? That doesn't make sense. And but to me, that just made the movie scarier to me, creepier to me. You know, the fact that, not the fact, but it just, I thought it was black blood. Killer mommy, killer. And that's where the kid, ma comes from. Kid, ma. You know, everybody always thought it was, you know, with a CH and an H. But no, it's with a K and an M. And Sean Cunningham says he never wanted a sequel to this movie. And sometimes I wonder if that's true. And it probably is true because when Halloween came out, you know, Halloween 2 had not even been thought of at the time of this movie. You know, surely when they were shooting this movie. So, but I would bet right after this movie came out, probably Sean heard something about another Halloween movie coming, and then he was like, oh, okay, we got to get, this was a big hit. Or maybe that's the reason. Maybe just because it was just a big financial hit. And when you make that much money, why wouldn't you do a sequel, you know? You know, double down. Oh, so here we got a cool scene here. Jason, he is in Manhattan now. He walks up to these idiots, kicks their boombox, and all he has to do is take off his mask. Holy shit. Another quick shout out here. Carrie's Corner of Horror, or is it Carrie's Horror Corner? She does these custom masks, and she sent this to me last year. And wow, you know, that blood, that's blood that she put on there. I don't think it's her real blood. Is it your real blood, Carrie? I don't think it is, but it is a very, very lovely mask. Give you a better view of, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? You know, that's a mask that looks like it has, you know, texture, you know, a lot of texture. It's really nice though. Definitely check her out on Instagram. She does great work. Ooh, the decap. One of the most famous decaps in all of cinema history. With those hairy hands. Pretty shocking ending. She cut an old lady's freaking head off. Let's do some Instagram shout outs now. Okay, we got Destiny. What's up, Destiny? She says, me. Simon Moon, what's up, brother? He says, hey, Lee, can't wait for DWatch to return. Love you, man. Greetings and all the best. All the best to you. Hey, there's Carrie's Corner right there. She says, double the feature, double the Crazy Ralph. A must for today. Yes. Yes. Golden Horror Movie says, what's up? You know me by what's in a name in the comments on YouTube. Yes, I do. Mrs. V will always be more scary to me than Jason. I agree with that. I do agree with that. And nothing against Jason. I love Jason. Evie Smith says, happy Friday the 13th, Lee. Have fun watching. Definitely. David7791 says, me, haha. You're watching the second one next, or you picking another Friday the 13th. Technically the second, but I am doing 2 others upstairs. So, Nathan, 241150. Yes, sir. And now, oh, there's that beautiful scene at the lake. Here he comes. Here he comes, people. Are you ready? Are you ready? What a freaking... That might be my thumbnail right there. Look at that guy. Oh, God, it's so awesome. It never gets old. That scene never gets old, and it always shocks. Every time. Going back, we got Jason 102176. It'll be tomorrow, but can't wait to watch it, Lee. How does one get a shout? Right there, buddy. You got your shout. Super B-Man 89 says, great minds think alike. I don't know why so many people shit on the original movie. Right? I agree. Dougville Comics says, I don't care if it's a blatant Halloween ripoff. I freaking love the movie. You damn right. Happy holidays, Hot Wings 1024. Jason Mercogliano. It's mandatory to do a Friday double feature every holiday. Yes. My eyes are really bad, guys. Okay. Bloody Nails. I like that. Says, I'll take a shout. Lee, thanks, brother. You got it. Scotty Boy Rules says, yes. Shout out, please. Happy Friday the 13th, Lee. I'm going to watch Freddy vs. Jason. I have done a DWatch on Freddy vs. Jason. DB Deets says, I'll take one and I'll return. I'll never bash Halloween Ends again. I'm going to hold you to it. We didn't find any boy. He's still out there. I always think of that singing Kingpin. We don't have a cow. We have a bull. But that's a whole different story. If you've seen Kingpin, you know what I'm talking about. Then he's still out there. That lake shot is a beautiful shot. I like that fade too, you know? A little bit of artistic merit there. I love it. What if he like jumped out of the water again? What if you got a double jump scare? You wouldn't expect it either, would you? Guys, we're going to cut it right here. We are 40 minutes into the first half of the video, part 1. I recorded all of part 2. Don't worry, it's all recorded, ready to go. But I thought, you know what? I'll chop it right here so that way I can put this out. And part 2 of this DWatch is coming really, really soon, within the next day, probably, okay? There too, but yeah, because this would be an hour-and-a-half video, which is fine, and I've done that before, I think. But you know what? I have to go see Skinamarink today, so I'm at the end of my editing for part 1, so we're gonna cut it right here. Still plenty of good stuff for you in there, but yeah, look for part 2 coming real soon, guys. Thank you for watching. I will see you in part 2 of the Friday part 1 and 2 DWatch. Love you guys.